Welcome to another story made by Oracle 1. Memory leak. The sunlight slanted through grimy blinds, slicing lines across the rumpled sheets of a small, sterile room. It smelled faintly of antiseptic and cold metal. A man's eyes fluttered open, catching the harsh morning light, blurring into a haze of pain. For a moment, he couldn't remember where he was or who he was. Then the searing ache on his ribs, the throbbing on his scalp, the stiffness in his left arm grounded him somewhere terrifyingly familiar. He was injured. Again. He sat up slowly, wincing as fresh bruises bloomed across his skin. His fingers trembled as they traced a deep gash above his eyebrow, a jagged cut that had appeared overnight. How could he have gotten these wounds? More pressing, why did he have no memory of anything before this morning? There was a note on the bedside table, scrawled in jagged handwriting. Don't trust your mind. Write it down. Remember. The man blinked, frustrated by his inability to recall even his own name. He felt a dull ache in his skull as if something inside were trying to crack open. He noticed a pen and a torn notebook lying on the bedside table, the corners dog-eared and pages filled with cramped writing. He picked up the notebook, flipping through the pages. Most were filled with disjointed sentences, desperate attempts to anchor himself to reality. Remember. You are not alone. They come at night. Memory leaks. It starts with the faces, then the places. Must find the key. Must find the key. The words sent a sharp shiver down his spine. Something was hunting him, someone, or something, and it was erasing his memories piece by piece. The door to the room creaked open, revealing a woman, early 30s, her eyes sharp and lined with exhaustion. She wore a worn leather jacket and held a small tray with a glass of water and painkillers. You're awake. Her voice was cautious, almost clinical. Who are you? The man's voice was raspy, unused. I'm Claire. I'm here to help you. She set the tray down and sat beside the bed, folding her hands in her lap. He studied her face, searching for any flicker of recognition. He found none. Help me how? He asked, eyes darting around the room for signs of danger. Claire glanced at the notebook in his hands and nodded. You're losing your memory. Every day you wake up with new injuries. No recollection of the previous day or how you got those. I've been trying to piece it together with you. Why is this happening? Because someone wants to keep you off balance. And I think it's all connected to that, she said, pointing to the notebook. Who would want to do this? Claire's expression hardened. That's what we need to find out. The man, who had to give himself a name to hold onto something, decided to call himself James, after the only name he could decipher from the jagged writing on the bedside. Each day, waking was like slipping into a riptide, memories lost beneath impenetrable waves. After a week of waking with bruises and cuts, Claire convinced James to come with her to a safe house outside the city, a place with no window blinds to trap the light. Here, they hoped, James could find some clarity amidst the shadows clouding his mind. The safe house was old, shelled in by peeling paint and creaking floorboards. It smelled of dust and forgotten history. Claire set up a makeshift command center with notes, maps, and photographs pinned to the walls like pieces of a giant jigsaw puzzle. Every morning when you wake, write down everything you feel, every word or image, she instructed. Even if it makes no sense. James nodded, forcing himself to write despite the fog in his mind. The days bled into one another. Each morning was a fresh slate, his notebook filled with half-formed thoughts and dread-soaked phrases. The man with no face. Whispers in the dark. The locked door behind the mural. One evening, deep into the night, James awoke with a start, his body screaming in pain. He looked down to see a jagged rip in his shirt, a fresh blood stain blossoming on his side. His eyes darted to the window. Shadows danced on the garden outside, movement, but no sound. "Claire?" he whispered. She stirred from the chair by the fireplace. "It's okay. You'll be fine." But James knew it wasn't just the injuries, they were messages. Warnings. The next morning, he found a new note tucked under his pillow. "The past isn't lost. It's being stolen. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. James was sifting through a pile of old newspapers Claire had collected when a headline caught his eye. "Local journalist disappears after investigating cold cases." The accompanying photo was grainy but familiar. The reporter's determined eyes, the slight curl of hair, it stirred something deep, like half a memory awakening. "I know this person," James muttered. Claire leaned over. "That's Sam Erickson. He's been missing for 3 months. We think his disappearance is linked to the memory leak cases." "Memory leak cases?" James asked. "Others like you. People waking up without memories, with new injuries, with no explanation." A cold, panicked nod at James. He wasn't an isolated victim. Someone was orchestrating this, systematically erasing lives, one day at a time. Claire and James spent hours piecing together a pattern. The victims were all connected to a story Sam was investigating. A scandal involving a biotech company called Neuroflux Systems. Rumors floated of secret experiments on human subjects, erasing memories to cover up crimes and unethical advancements. The more they dug, the more dangerous it became. One night, as they worked late, the safe house was breached. James woke gasping, restraining pain shooting through his body. His notebook was torn from his hands, pages scattered across the floor. Shadows moved through the room, footsteps heavy, deliberate. His mind screamed, but he couldn't grasp his past to fight back. Claire shouted from the hall, and for a moment, James felt a spark. Familiarity rose like a flickering flame. "James, run," she yelled. Clutching what remained of the notebook, James stumbled out, chasing unknown escape routes through twisting alleyways in the dark. Days later, recovering from his injuries, James sat in the dim light of an abandoned library, staring at the fragmented pages. The message was clear. Neuroflux was wiping memories to keep people silent. Sam's notes hinted at a key, addressed cryptically as the cipher, hidden within the data chip stolen from Neuroflux's labs. James had to find it. With Claire's help, they hacked into the company's external servers, retrieving encrypted files and cross-referencing dates and locations. The trail led to an old warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Inside the cavernous building, shadows wrapped around crates and discarded machinery. The air was thick and stale. James's heart thundered as they neared a locked door marked, "Restricted Access." His hand trembled as he punched in a code Claire had found in Sam's notes. The door hissed open, revealing a small, stark room with a single console humming softly in the dark. On the desk lay a silver data chip. James reached out, fingers brushing against the cold surface. As he plugged it into a handheld reader, the screen flickered, digital fragments assembling into a chilling revelation. Files detailed experiments in erasing memories to manipulate witnesses, subjects implanted with microchips that triggered memory decay, or worse, false memories. The company wasn't just stealing memories, they were rewriting reality. Suddenly, a metallic click echoed behind them. "We're not alone," Claire whispered. A figure stepped into the light, tall, expressionless. A man in a Neuroflux uniform. "You shouldn't be here," he said calmly, but his eyes were cold knives. "We're exposing the truth," Claire said firmly. The man smiled, a thin, humorless curve. "Once you finish your memory leak, you'll forget all about this night." Gunshots rang out. Chaos erupted. James scrambled behind crates, clutching his side where fresh pain flared. He thought of his lost memories, of faces he couldn't recall, of the ache in his chest that meant he was still alive. The battle was far from over. Months later, after countless fights, near escapes, and shattered trust, a dedicated team swarmed to bring Neuroflix's dark experiments into the light. James sat in a hospital bed, bruises fading, but the fog in his mind remained stubborn. Yet, as he held a new notebook, blank and untouched, a spark of something survived. A determination to keep fighting, to store the fractured pieces of himself and others like him, until the memories lost became memories reclaimed. For more stories, like and subscribe.